You think I won't find out? The words still echoed in Lily's skull as she pressed her hand against her broken ribs. Ryan Caldwell had whispered them 3 minutes ago, his breath hot against her ear, before walking out laughing. Now she was bleeding on a storage room floor, choking on her own silence. The door flew open. A man in a charcoal suit stood there, Victor Hale, his eyes colder than anything she'd ever seen. "Lily Dawson," he said, voice like cut glass. "By tomorrow morning, 15 men will be gone. Ryan Caldwell will be the first. I need your answer in 60 seconds. Do you want justice or do you want revenge?" Before we continue, hit subscribe and stay until the end. Comment your city so I can see how far this story reaches. Now let's begin. Lily couldn't speak. Her jaw wouldn't work. Blood filled her mouth. She'd bitten through her tongue when Ryan slammed her against the shelving. Victor didn't wait. He crouched down, pulled a phone from his pocket, took 3 photos of her face. Flash, flash, flash. Each one felt like a violation. "Stop," she managed. "Evidence," he said flatly. "Admissible in court. Time-stamped. Geotagged." He stood already dialing. "Send the extraction team. Storage room 3B, 2 minutes." "Who are you?" Lily choked out. Victor looked at her, really looked. And in his eyes she saw something that made her blood freeze, not pity. Recognition, like he'd seen this exact scene play out before. "Someone who's been watching Ryan Caldwell destroy women for 6 months, he said. "Someone who's been waiting for him to make a mistake big enough that he can't buy his way out. Someone who has 15 federal warrants ready to execute the moment you say the word." 15. The number hit her like electricity. 15 men, she whispered. 15 rapists. Ryan's just the loudest. The others are quieter, smarter, more careful. Victor extended his hand. "But they all made the same mistake. They hurt people I was protecting." "You weren't protecting me." Lily's voice cracked. "You let him. I needed evidence that would hold up in federal court. I needed him caught in the act on company property with witnesses who could testify to a pattern of behavior." Victor's hand didn't waver. "I know what you're thinking, and you're right to hate me, but right now you have a choice. Take my hand and help me bury all 15 of them, or crawl out of here alone and watch Ryan walk free tomorrow morning." Lily stared at his outstretched palm. Her vision blurred. She could hear footsteps in the hallway, multiple people moving fast. 30 seconds, Victor said quietly. "They're coming to clean the security footage. If you're still here, when they arrive, you'll disappear from the official record. Ryan's lawyers will argue you never existed. They've done it 4 times before. 4 times. 4 other women, erased." Lily grabbed his hand. Victor pulled her up with surprising gentleness. The moment she was vertical, 2 people in dark suits materialized from nowhere. A woman with salt and pepper hair immediately wrapped Lily in a jacket that smelled like lavender. A man with an earpiece handed Victor a tablet. "Footage secured," the man said. "Caldwell exited at 1947. Building security hasn't noticed yet. Keep it that way." Victor touched Lily's elbow barely, like she was made of glass. "Can you walk?" I don't know." The woman with salt and pepper hair slid an arm around Lily's waist. "Lean on me, honey. We're going to walk out of here like we're colleagues leaving late. You're drunk from happy hour. That's the story." "I don't drink," Lily said stupidly. "You do tonight." The woman smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'm Helen. I'm going to take care of you, but right now we need to move." They half walked, half carried Lily through the hallway. The fluorescent lights felt like knives in her skull. Every breath sent fire through her ribs, but somehow she stayed upright. The side door burst open, night air cold and clean. A black sedan idled at the curb, rear door already open. Helen guided Lily inside and slid in beside her. Victor took the front passenger seat. The driver, a young black man with kind eyes, pulled away from the curb before Victor's door was fully closed, where Lily started. "Safe house," Victor said. 20 minutes outside the city. No one knows about it except the people in this car. "My mother, she'll worry." "Already handled. She received a text from your number 15 minutes ago saying you picked up an extra shift. She responded that she's proud of you and saved you leftovers." Ice flooded Lily's veins. "You have my phone." "I have access to your phone. There's a difference. That's illegal. So is what Ryan Caldwell did to you." Victor turned in his seat to look at her. So is what happened to Monica Rodriguez 3 months ago, and Jessica Park before her, and Amanda Liu before her, and Sarah Chen for her. Would you like me to keep going? Because I can recite all 47 names. The number stole Lily's breath. 47 women that we know about at Caldwell Industries alone. The other 14 companies represented in tonight's warrant list bring the total to 206 victims over the past 12 years. Lily's stomach heaved. Helen had a basin ready. She'd done this before. Lily vomited until there was nothing left, then dry heaved until Helen pressed something cold against the back of her neck. Breathe, Helen murmured. Slow, in through your nose. That's it. When Lily could finally sit up, Victor was holding out a bottle of water. She took it with shaking hands. Why are you telling me this? She asked. Why not just handle it without me? Because you're the linchpin. Ryan assaulted you on company property during work hours with security cameras running. That makes Caldwell Industries criminally liable under the RICO Act. It opens the door to seize corporate records, freeze assets, and prosecute not just the rapists, but the executives who covered for them. RICO, Lily's head spun. That's organized crime. Sexual assault as corporate policy is organized crime. Victor's voice was ice. When executives systematically hire, protect, and enable rapists in exchange for loyalty and profit, that's racketeering, and it carries a 20-year minimum sentence. The car turned onto a private road. Trees blocked out the stars. Lily had no idea where she was. I filed an HR complaint, she said suddenly. 3 months ago, Ryan cornered me in the parking garage. He just touched me, my arm, my hair. But the way he looked at me, I knew it was a warning. I reported it. HR said they'd investigate. They deleted your complaint 48 hours later, Victor said. But I have the original, screenshots from the HR database before they scrubbed it, along with 14 other deleted complaints about Ryan and 42 complaints about the other men we're arresting tonight. How did you get access to? I have people everywhere. IT departments, legal teams, janitorial staff, people who are sick of watching powerful men get away with destroying lives. Victor paused. People like you who just needed someone to give them permission to fight back. The car stopped in front of a massive house. Noah compound. Security cameras on every corner. Lights blazing from a dozen windows. This is where you'll stay tonight, Victor said. Helen will examine your injuries. Document everything. Photograph every bruise, every cut. Then you'll sleep. And tomorrow morning you'll decide. Decide what? Whether you want to testify, whether you want to be part of the case that brings down Caldwell Industries and 14 other corporations. Whether you want your name attached to the biggest sexual assault prosecution in U.S. history. Victor opened his door. Or whether you want to take a settlement, sign an NDA, and walk away. How much? The question came out before Lily could stop it. Victor named a number that made her vision gray out. That's enough for my mother's treatment. For the next 5 years. Maybe more. Exactly enough, Victor confirmed. I know about her cancer. I know her insurance denied coverage for the immunotherapy trial. I know you've been working double shifts to save up. This money would solve that problem. Completely. Lily wanted to feel grateful. Instead, she felt sick. And if I testify, your mother gets the same treatment. Fully covered, along with a salary for you senior associate at the Hale Justice Initiative. $180,000 a year. Full benefits. Starting whenever you're ready. So either way, my mother is saved. Either way, you get what you need. The only question is whether you want to help save the next 200 women or just yourself. The words were manipulation, pure and simple. Lily knew that, but they were also true. Helen opened Lily's door. Come on, sweetheart. Let's get you inside. The house was beautiful, all warm wood and soft lighting. Nothing like the cold corporate elegance Lily associated with rich people. Helen led her upstairs to a bedroom that looked like something from a magazine. Huge bed fireplace, attached bathroom with a tub big enough to swim in. Shower first, Helen said gently. I need you to try not to wash away evidence, but I know you need to feel clean. So just water, no soap yet. I'll wait right outside. Lily nodded numbly. Alone in the bathroom, she caught sight of herself in the mirror and gasped. Her left eye was swollen nearly shut. Her lip was split. Purple bruises spread across her jaw like spilled ink. Her shirt was torn at the shoulder, revealing more bruises underneath. She looked like a victim. She looked exactly like what Ryan had turned her into. The shower water ran pink, then clear. Lily stood under the spray until it ran cold, then stood there longer. When she finally emerged, Helen was waiting with a robe and a medical kit that looked like it belonged in an ER. "Sit," Helen instructed. For the next hour, Helen worked with practiced efficiency. Photographs from every angle, measurements of every bruise, swabs for DNA evidence, x-rays of Lily's ribs using a portable machine she wheeled in from another room. 3 cracked ribs, Helen confirmed, mild concussion, severe contusions across your left side, back, and face, defensive wounds on your hands and forearms. She looked up from her tablet. "He really tried to kill you." "He tried to rape me," Lily corrected. "The killing part was just because I fought back." "Good." Helen's voice was fierce. "I hope you hurt him." "I did. Box cutter. Got his hand pretty deep." Helen smiled, a real smile, sharp and satisfied. "That'll leave a scar." "Good." When the examination was finally over, Helen handed Lily 2 pills and a glass of water. "Painkiller and something to help you sleep. Prescription strength, but safe. You need rest." Lily took the pills. Within minutes, she felt herself floating away from her body, away from the pain, away from everything. Helen tucked her into bed like a child. "I'll be right down the hall. Button on the nightstand if you need anything. You're safe here. I promise." But Lily was already asleep. She dreamed of Ryan's hands, of his voice in her ear. "You think I won't find out?" over and over like a prayer or a curse. She woke to sunlight and agony. Every muscle screamed. Her ribs felt like broken glass grinding together. The clock read 9:47 a.m. She'd slept for almost 13 hours. Someone knocked softly. "Come in," Lily croaked. Victor entered carrying a breakfast tray. Coffee exactly the right color, toast with butter, scrambled eggs with cheese the way her mother made them. "How did you know?" "I've been monitoring you for 6 months. I know your coffee order, your favorite lunch spot, the route you take home. I know you bite your thumbnail when you're nervous, and that you text your mother goodnight every evening at 10:15. Victor set the tray on the bedside table. "I know everything about you, Lily Dawson." It should have terrified her. Instead, it made her angry. "That's stalking. That's protection. There's a difference. Not from where I'm sitting." Victor pulled up a chair. "You're right. From your perspective, I'm a stranger who invaded your privacy and manipulated events to serve my own agenda. But from my perspective, I'm someone who spent 6 months trying to prevent what happened to you last night and failed. You didn't fail. You got your evidence. At the cost of your safety, your peace of mind, your trust in the world." Victor's mask cracked slightly. "Don't think I'm proud of that." Lily sipped the coffee. It was perfect, which somehow made everything worse. "Tell me about the 15 men," she said. Victor pulled out his tablet. "Ryan Caldwell, VP of Operations, 7 confirmed assaults, 12 more suspected. Richard Morse, CFO, 9 confirmed. James Whitfield, General Counsel, 6 confirmed, but he's the one who handled the cover-ups. So he's culpable for all 47 at Caldwell Industries alone. Should I continue?" Yes, Victor did. Name after name, crime after crime. By the time he finished, Lily felt like she'd been dipped in ice water. And they're all being arrested this morning. They were arrested at 6 a.m., all 15, federal agents' simultaneous raids. By now, they're all in custody. Their lawyers are screaming. Their families are confused. And the media is starting to pick up the story. Victor turned the tablet toward her. The headline read, "Massive federal raid targets 15 executives in sex trafficking investigation." Sex trafficking, Lily's voice rose. Is that accurate? Absolutely. When executives use their corporate positions to systematically abuse employees, then transfer those employees between departments or companies to silence them, that meets the legal definition of trafficking. The prosecutors are going for the maximum charges. Lily set down her coffee cup before she dropped it. This is real. This is actually happening. This is happening because you survived, Easton. Because you're sitting here instead of, Victor stopped himself. Instead of what? Instead of dead, or broken, or bought off in silence like the others. Victor's expression was granite. Ryan Caldwell has escalated with every victim. You're alive because you fought hard enough that he panicked and ran. The woman before you, Monica Rodriguez, she didn't fight. She froze. And Ryan, he stopped again. What happened to Monica? Lily whispered. She took the settlement, $200,000, signed the NDA, left the state. Victor's voice was carefully neutral. 6 weeks later, she tried to kill herself. She survived, but barely. She's in a psychiatric facility in Arizona now. I pay for her care. The room tilted. You pay all the victims who take settlements. I make sure they have access to mental health care, medical treatment, relocation assistance, whatever they need. Victor stood and walked to the window because I couldn't save them when it mattered. So I save them afterward however I can. That's not saving them, that's guilt. Yes. Victor turned back to her. It is, and I'll carry it for the rest of my life, just like you'll carry what happened to you. The only question is what we do with that weight. Before Lily could respond, her phone buzzed. Victor had placed it on the nightstand while she slept. She picked it up. A text from an unknown number. I know where you are. I know what you did. This isn't over. Lily's hand shook so hard she almost dropped the phone. Victor plucked it from her fingers, read the message, and immediately made a call. Trace this number, now. Pause. I don't care if it's a burner. Find the cell tower. Cross-reference with known associates. Another pause. Do it. He hung up and looked at Lily. Ryan's father, he said quietly. James Caldwell, founder and CEO. I expected this. You expected. How are you so calm? Because I have 24-hour security on this property and armed guards outside your door. Because James Caldwell is a bully who uses fear to control people, and bullies always overplay their hand. Victor's smile was cold. And because in approximately 6 hours, James Caldwell is going to be arrested and alongside his son. What you said, 15 men, 14 executives and 1 CEO. James Caldwell personally authorized every settlement, every NDA, every deletion of evidence. He created the system. He's the head of the snake. Victor sat back down. I was saving him for last, but threatening you moved up the timeline. Lily's phone buzzed again. Another text. Your mother is at 447 Oak Street apartment, 3C alone. Vulnerable. Think carefully about your choices. Terror froze Lily's lungs. My mother. Victor was already dialing. Execute Protocol 7, 447 Oak Street apartment, 3C. I want a full security team on site in under 10 minutes. He listened, then said, good, don't leave her side. To Lily, he said, your mother is fine. I have people moving into position right now. Within 8 minutes, she'll have 4 armed bodyguards who will stay with her until this is over. This is insane. This is what happens when you challenge powerful men. They lash out. They threaten. They try to make you afraid enough to back down. Victor leaned forward. But here's what James Caldwell doesn't know. Every text he sends is evidence. Every threat is another charge. He's adding years to his own sentence, and he's too arrogant to see it. Lily's phone buzzed. Not a text this time, a call. Her mother. She answered with shaking hands. Mom, Lily, sweetheart, there are some very serious-looking people outside my building. They said you sent them. Yes, Mom, I need you to trust me. Let them inside. They're going to protect you. Protect me from what? Lily looked at Victor. He nodded. From some very bad men who are angry that I'm telling the truth about what they did, Lily said. Mom, I need you to pack a bag. The guards are going to take you somewhere safe, just for a few days. Lily, you're scaring me. I know. I'm scared too. But I promise this is going to be okay. We just need to be careful right now. Her mother was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, this is about what happened to your face, isn't it? About whoever hurt you. Yes. Then you do whatever you need to do. I'll go with your guards. And Lily, I love you. I'm proud of you. Don't you dare back down. Lily's eyes flooded. I love you too, Mom. After she hung up, Victor said, your mother is stronger than you think. She's sick. She's a survivor, just like you. Victor stood. Get dressed. We need to go to my office. The FBI wants to take your formal statement, and there's someone I want you to meet first. Who's Sarah Chen? The name hit Lily like voltage. The woman from accounting, the one who quit. The one who was assaulted by Ryan Caldwell 8 months ago and took a settlement to stay quiet. Victor headed for the door. She called me this morning. She saw the news. She wants to testify. 30 minutes later, Lily sat in Victor's downtown office, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows and art that probably cost more than her yearly salary. Sarah Chen sat across from her, and Lily barely recognized her. The woman looked hollow. Her eyes were dark pools in a too-thin face. Her hands shook constantly. "I'm sorry," Sarah said the moment they were alone. "I'm so sorry. I couldn't." "Stop." Lily reached across the table and took Sarah's trembling hands. "You did what you had to do to survive. That's not something to apologize for. But if I had spoken up, maybe Ryan wouldn't have hurt you. He would have hurt someone. That's what predators do. The blame is on him, not you." Sarah's face crumpled. She cried quietly while Lily held her hands and said nothing, because there was nothing to say. When Sarah finally composed herself, she said, "The FBI agent, she said you gave a statement that you're pressing charges." "Yes. Even though everyone will know, even though your name will be public. Victor's getting a protective order. My name stays sealed. But you're still doing it. You're still fighting. I don't feel like I have a choice." Sarah laughed bitterly. "That's how I felt when I took the settlement. Like I didn't have a choice." "Maybe we never really do," Lily said quietly. "Maybe we just pick which cage we want to live in." "That's dark." "Yeah." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Sarah said, "I want to testify too. I want to tell them what Ryan did to me, what the company did to cover it up. All of it." "It's going to be hell," Lily warned. "The lawyers will tear you apart. They'll dig into every mistake you've ever made. They'll try to make you the villain." "I know, but I've been living in hell for 8 months. At least this way, maybe it means something." Before Lily could respond, Victor entered with a woman in her 40s, dark suit, sharp eyes, FBI credentials on her belt. "Lily Dawson, Sarah Chen, this is Special Agent Melissa Torres. She's leading the investigation." Torres shook both their hands. "Thank you for your courage. I know this isn't easy." "When does the trial start?" Sarah asked. "Given the complexity and the number of defendants, probably not for 18 to 24 months. But the arraignment is Monday. That's when they'll be formally charged." 2 years. Lily felt sick. "We have to wait 2 years. To testify, yes. But that time won't be wasted. We'll be building the case, gathering more evidence, finding more victims. And in the meantime, all 16 defendants will remain in federal custody without bail." 16, Sarah frowned. "I thought it was 15. "We arrested James Caldwell 2 hours ago," Torres said with evident satisfaction. "Turns out threatening a federal witness is a very stupid thing to do." Lily felt something shift in her chest. Not quite relief, not quite victory, but something. "What happens to the company?" she asked. "Caldwell Industries. The board will likely force a sale to avoid complete collapse. Assets will be frozen pending the outcome of the trial. Victims will be able to file civil suits." "How many victims are there?" Sarah asked quietly. Torres glanced at Victor, who nodded permission. "We've confirmed 206, Torres said, across 15 companies. But we believe the actual number is closer to 400. Many victims are too afraid to come forward, or they've signed ND, as they think are legally binding." 400 women, Lily whispered. 400 women who were hurt by men who thought they were untouchable. Torres' voice was steel. "Your testimony is going to help us make sure they face consequences, real consequences." After Torres left to take their formal statements, Victor pulled Lily aside. "There's something else you need to know," he said, "about the job offer. I already said I'd take it. I know, but you need to understand what you're signing up for. The Hale Justice Initiative doesn't just support victims through the legal process. We actively investigate cases of institutional corruption and sexual violence. We go into corporations, universities, government agencies, anywhere powerful people are hurting others with impunity. We gather evidence, build cases, and hand them over to law enforcement." "You're describing exactly what you did with Caldwell Industries." "Yes, and it's dangerous. The people we investigate fight back. They threaten. They sue. They try to destroy our credibility and our lives. Victor met her eyes. 3 years ago, one of my investigators was run off the road by a lawyer for a pharmaceutical CEO we were targeting. She survived, but barely. She still has nightmares. Are you trying to talk me out of this? I'm trying to make sure you understand the cost, because once you start this work, you can't unsee what you'll see. You can't unknow what you'll know, and you'll carry the weight of every victim you can't save. Lily thought about Monica Rodriguez in her Arizona psychiatric facility, about Sarah Chen's hollow eyes, about the 400 women who had been hurt, and the untold number who never reported at all. I already carry weight, she said. At least this way I'm carrying it towards something. Victor smiled, a real smile, warm and genuine. You're going to be excellent at this. How do you know? Because you're still angry. Anger is fuel. As long as you're angry, you'll keep fighting. That night, Lily returned to the safe house exhausted. Helen had dinner waiting, chicken soup and fresh bread comfort food that reminded her of her mother's cooking. Your mom called, Helen said. She settled in at the secondary location. Complained about the guards hovering, but I think she secretly likes the attention. Lily smiled despite everything. That sounds like her. She also wanted me to tell you she's proud of you and that she'll see you tomorrow after her doctor's appointment. The doctor's appointment. In all the chaos, Lily had almost forgotten. Dr. Chen at Sloan Kettering, she said, for the immunotherapy trial. All arranged. The guards will take her. Victor's covering every penny. Lily set down her spoon. Why is he doing this? Really, Baoi? Helen sat down across from her. Did he tell you about his sister? Yes, that she was assaulted, that she killed herself. Did he tell you that he found her, that he was the one who called 911, that he held her while she died, and the last thing she said was, I'm sorry? Lily's throat closed. Victor spent 10 years trying to destroy the man who hurt her through legal channels. Helen continued. When that failed, he taught himself everything about the law, about evidence, about how power really works in this country. Then he spent the next 15 years becoming someone who could actually make a difference. At what cost? Everything. His marriage fell apart. His relationship with his parents is non-existent. He has no friends outside this work. He lives alone in a house too big for one person, and he works 18-hour days because if he stops moving, he starts thinking about all the victims he couldn't save. Helen's voice softened, including his sister. That's not sustainable. No, it's not, but it's the choice he made, and he'll keep making it until... Helen stopped. Until what? Until it kills him, or until he finds someone who can share the weight. Lilu understood. That's why he wants me, why he's invested so much in recruiting me. You're smart, you're brave, and you understand the cost. That makes you rare. Helen stood. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be intense. But Lily couldn't sleep. She lay in the dark thinking about Victor's sister, about Monica Rodriguez, about Sarah Chen and the 400 other women, about the choice she'd made. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but this time she didn't panic. She'd learned to recognize Victor's burner phones. The message read, First team meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Conference room B, welcome to the initiative. Lily smiled in the darkness. For the first time since Ryan Caldwell put his hands on her, she felt like she had power. Not the power to erase what happened, not the power to undo the damage, but the power to make sure it meant something, and that she was learning was enough. The conference room at 10 a.m. held 6 people Lily had never seen before. Victor stood at the head of the table, but it was the woman to his right who commanded attention, mid-50s, silver haircut sharp as a blade, eyes that could dissect a lie at 20 paces. Lily Dawson, meet Catherine Ross, Victor said, former federal prosecutor. She ran the sex crimes unit in Manhattan for 12 years before I convinced her to join us. Catherine's handshake was firm. I've read your file. You have good instincts. I don't have any instincts, Lily said. I'm just trying not to drown. That's the instinct I'm talking about. Knowing when you're in over your head keeps you alive. Catherine gestured to the others. Marcus Webb, investigative journalist, broke the Penn State story. Diana Ortega, forensic accountant, she can find money hidden in places you didn't know existed. And twins James and Jordan Kim, tech specialists who make the NSA look like amateurs. James, or maybe Jordan, waved. We prefer digital archaeologists. We find things people thought they deleted, the other twin added. Victor pulled up a screen. This is Titan Pharmaceuticals, $17 billion in annual revenue. CEO is Marcus Webb, no relation, who's been credibly accused by 9 women of assault over the past 6 years. Every case settled quietly. Every victim signed ironclad NDAs. Every accusation scrubbed from public record. Lily's stomach turned. And we're going after him. We've been building this case for 14 months, Catherine said. But we've hit a wall. The NDAs are airtight, the victims are terrified, and Marcus Webb's legal team makes the Caldwell lawyers look like public defenders. So why show me this now? Victor's expression was grave. Because yesterday, one of those 9 women tried to contact us. Emily Vasquez, age 28, former executive assistant. She worked directly for Marcus Webb 3 years ago. He assaulted her in his private jet over international waters, specifically chose that location because it creates jurisdictional nightmares for prosecution. Jesus, Lily whispered. Emily took a $2 million settlement, Diana said, pulling up financial records. But 6 months ago, she started having seizures. Neurological damage from the assault. He strangled her until she lost consciousness. Her doctors say she needs surgery that costs $800,000. Her settlement money is almost gone. Marcus Webb, the journalist, leaned forward. She reached out to me first. I've been cultivating sources at Titan for years. She said she wanted to talk, wanted to break the NDA, but she was scared. We scheduled a meeting for yesterday afternoon. Lily saw it coming. She didn't show. Worse, she disappeared completely. Her apartment was cleared out, her phone disconnected, her bank accounts emptied and closed. Marcus's hands clenched. 12 hours between our phone call and her vanishing. Webb's people grabbed her, Lily said. We can't prove it. But yes, that's our working theory. Victor's jaw tightened, which is why you're here. We need someone who understands what Emily is going through, someone who can help us find her and convince her she'll be safe if she testifies. I met her once, Lily said. How am I supposed to? Catherine cut her off. You're not supposed to do anything except learn. This is your first case. You're observing. But I want you in the room when we strategize because your perspective matters. One of the twins, Lily still couldn't tell them apart, pulled up security footage. We tracked Emily's movements until she went dark. Last confirmed sighting was here. The image showed a parking garage. She met with a man in a gray sedan. Plates were obscured, but we got a partial face. The footage zoomed in. Lily's blood went cold. I know him, she said. That's David fucking Morrison. He was Ryan Caldwell's personal lawyer. The room went silent. Victor spoke first. Are you certain? I'm positive. He came to my desk twice before everything, asking questions about my work, my schedule. I thought he was just being friendly. Lily's hands shook. He was gathering information for Ryan. Diana was already typing. David Morrison, partner at Morrison Strauss & Klein. They represent, oh hell, they represent both Caldwell Industries and Titan Pharmaceuticals. Same law firm, Catherine said quietly. Same playbook, same cleanup crew. Marcus Webb stood abruptly. If Morrison took Emily, she could be anywhere. These people have resources we can't match. Then we match them differently. Victor's voice cut through the rising panic. James Jordan, I need Morrison's phone records, travel history, and credit card statements for the past 72 hours. Diana pulled Titan's corporate flight logs. If they moved Emily out of state, they used company resources. And Catherine, already drafting the emergency motion, Catherine said, fingers flying across her laptop. If we can prove Emily was coerced or held against her will, we can get a federal judge to void the NDA and issue a warrant. Based on what evidence, Lily asked. We have footage of her getting into a car. That's not kidnapping. Catherine looked up. It is if we can prove she was under duress. Diana, can you trace Emily's bank transactions? If someone emptied her accounts for her, there'll be a digital trail. On it. The room exploded into coordinated chaos. Lily sat frozen watching these people work with the precision of a surgical team. Within 20 minutes, they had Morrison's location, a private airfield in Westchester, and confirmation that a Titan corporate jet had filed a flight plan to the Cayman Islands. He's running, Marcus said, taking her offshore where we can't touch her. The plane hasn't taken off yet, Jordan said, delayed for mechanical issues. They're scheduled to depart in 90 minutes. Victor was already on his phone. I need FAA to ground that aircraft. Mechanical inspection, full safety review. Make it thorough. He listened, then said, I don't care what it costs. Keep that plane on the ground until I say otherwise. He hung up and looked at Catherine. How fast can you get me a warrant? For what charge? Custodial interference. Witness tampering. Pick one. I need a federal judge to sign off. That's at least 4 hours. We don't have 4 hours. Lily stood. Then we go get her. Everyone turned to stare. Excuse me, Victor said. We go to the airfield. We find Emily. We convince her to walk away from Morrison before the plane takes off. Lily's heart hammered. She's not a prisoner yet. She's just scared. I can talk to her. Absolutely not, Catherine said. You're not trained for field work. You could get hurt, or worse, you could compromise the entire case. I'm the only one here who knows what she's feeling right now, Lily shot back. I'm the only one who can look her in the eye and tell her that fighting back is worth it. Victor studied her. You'd be taking a significant risk. No bigger than the risk Emily took when she called Marcus. Someone needs to show her that risk wasn't for nothing. Marcus Webb grinned. I like her. She's got spine. She's got a death wish, Catherine muttered. But she was already pulling up maps of the airfield. Private terminal, minimal security. If we can get Lily inside, she'd have maybe 10 minutes before Morrison realizes what's happening. I'll go with her, Marcus said. I know the layout. Did a story on private aviation fraud last year. Victor shook his head. Too recognizable. Morrison knows your face. He turned to one of the twins. James, you're with Lily. You can pass as her boyfriend. Wealthy young couple checking out private charter options. James nodded. I'll bring the engagement ring prop. Makes the cover more convincing. 20 minutes later, Lily sat in the passenger seat of a Tesla trying not to hyperventilate. James drove with one hand, the other adjusting a tiny earpiece. Testing comms, he said. Can you hear me, Catherine? Catherine's voice crackled in Lily's ear. Loud and clear. Lily, remember, you're there to observe and report. Do not engage Morrison directly. Do not make promises you can't keep. And for God's sake, do not do anything heroic. Define heroic, Lily said. Anything that gets you killed. The airfield appeared ahead. Sleek buildings, private jets lined up like toys. James pulled into the visitor lot and killed the engine. Morrison's car is here, he said, pointing to the gray sedan, which means Emily's inside somewhere. They walked into the terminal holding hands. James had transformed into someone Lily didn't recognize, confident, entitled, bored. Old money personified. The receptionist barely glanced at them. We're interested in charter services to the Caribbean, James said smoothly. Is there someone who can walk us through options? Of course. Mr. Brennan can help you. He's just finishing with another client. The receptionist gestured to a waiting area. Please have a seat. They sat. Through the window, Lily could see the Titan jet on the tarmac. A man in a suit, Morrison, stood near the stairs talking on his phone. And beside him, looking small and terrified, was a woman with dark hair and hollow eyes, Emily. I see her, Lily whispered. Don't move, James said quietly. Catherine, we have visual confirmation. Emily Vasquez is on the tarmac with Morrison. She appears distressed but ambulatory. Catherine's voice. Can you get to her without Morrison noticing? James scanned the room. There's a service exit that leads to the tarmac, but it's alarmed. Give me 30 seconds. Jordan's voice joined the channel. Accessing their security system now and done. Alarms disabled. You have a 3-minute window before their IT notices the breach. Lily stood. James grabbed her wrist. Wait for my signal, he hissed. There's no time. She pulled free and walked toward the service exit, heart trying to punch through her ribs. Behind her, James swore and followed. The door opened silently. Cold wind hit her face. She was on the tarmac 50 yards from Morrison and Emily. Lily, this is insane. Catherine's voice crackled. Get back inside. Lily pulled out her earpiece and dropped it. Then she started walking. Morrison saw her first. His expression shifted from confusion to alarm. He reached for Emily's arm, but Lily called out, Emily Vasquez. Emily turned. Their eyes met. Lily saw everything in that look, the fear, the shame, the desperate hope that someone, anyone, had come for her. My name is Lily Dawson, Lily said, closing the distance. I work with the Hale Justice Initiative. I know what Marcus Webb did to you, and I know you're scared, but you don't have to go with this man. Morrison stepped between them. Miss Vasquez is leaving voluntarily. You're trespassing on private property. I suggest you leave before I call security. Call them, Lily said. I'd love to explain to the police why you're transporting a sexual assault victim to a country with no extradition treaty. Morrison's face went white. Emily made a small sound. I don't know what lies you've been fed, Morrison said smoothly, but Miss Vasquez and I have a perfectly legal attorney-client relationship. She's traveling for personal reasons. Then she can tell me that herself. Lily looked past him. Emily, I was assaulted by a man named Ryan Caldwell 6 days ago. He's in federal custody now, along with his father and 14 other men. They're facing 20 years minimum because I testified, because other women testified, because we stopped being afraid of men like Marcus Webb and David Morrison. You need to leave, Morrison said, pulling out his phone. Now, Emily, please. Lily took one step closer. Whatever he promised you, whatever money they're offering, it won't fix what Marcus Webb took from you. But testifying might. Helping us stop him from hurting more women might. I can't promise it won't be hard, but I can promise you won't be alone. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Morrison grabbed her arm. We're boarding. Now, get your hand off her, Lily said. Or what, you'll assault me in front of witnesses. Morrison smirked. Try it, I'll own everything you have. Lily smiled. I don't have anything. That's the beautiful part. You can't threaten someone who's already lost everything. Morrison's grip on Emily tightened. Emily winced, and Lily snapped. She grabbed Morrison's wrist and twisted hard using a self-defense move Helen had taught her that morning. Morrison yelped and let go. Emily stumbled backward. Run, Lily told her. Back to the terminal. Find James Kim. He'll keep you safe. For one frozen second, Emily didn't move. Then she ran. Morrison lunged for Lily. She dodged, but he was faster than he looked. His fist caught her shoulder, the same shoulder Ryan had slammed into the shelving. Pain exploded white-hot. Then James appeared from nowhere, putting himself between Lily and Morrison. Touch her again and I'll break every bone in your hand, James said pleasantly. And before you threaten to sue, you should know I'm recording everything. That's assault on video. Your legal career just ended. Morrison's face purpled with rage, but security was running toward them now, drawn by the commotion. He straightened his jacket, forced calm into his expression. This isn't over, he said. No, Lily agreed, clutching her shoulder. It's just beginning. Security escorted them back inside. Emily sat in the waiting area shaking. James made a phone call while Lily sat beside her. I'm sorry, Lily said quietly. I didn't mean to. I shouldn't have grabbed you like that. You saved me. Emily's voice was barely a whisper. He was going to take me somewhere I'd never come back from. I could feel it. You're safe now. For how long Marcus Webb owns judges, he owns politicians. He'll make me disappear for real next time. Not if we move first. Lily pulled out her phone, the personal one, not the burner. She showed Emily the news headline, 16 executives arrested in sex trafficking ring. Emily read it twice. That's real. Completely real. And Marcus Webb is next. But we need your testimony. The NDA can be voided if we prove you signed under duress, which we can now that Morrison just tried to kidnap you on camera. James sat down across from them. Catherine's already filing the emergency motion. By tonight, that NDA will be toilet paper. Emily's hands trembled so hard she couldn't hold the phone. Lily took it gently. I need surgery, Emily whispered. The money Morrison promised would have covered it. The Hale Initiative covers all medical expenses for witnesses, Lily said. Every penny, and you'd have a calm afterward if you want it, helping other women like us. Like us, Emily repeated. She started crying. I thought I was the only one stupid enough to get trapped. You're not stupid, you're human, and humans make mistakes when they're scared. Lily put her arm around Emily's shoulders. But you're not alone anymore. That's the difference. The drive back to headquarters took an hour. Emily slept in the back seat, exhausted. James drove in silence until they hit the city. That was the stupidest, bravest thing I've ever seen, he said finally. Which part? All of it. Walking onto that tarmac, confronting Morrison, physically fighting him. James shook his head. Catherine's going to kill you. Victor will kill me first. But when they arrived, Victor was waiting at the entrance. He looked at Lily's bruised shoulder, at Emily's tear-stained face, at James's grim expression. Conference room, he said. Now. They gathered around the table again. Catherine paced like a caged animal. That was reckless, she said. Dangerous, completely outside protocol. It worked, Lily said. You assaulted a lawyer on camera. He assaulted me first. James has the footage. James pulled up the video on the main screen. The room watched Morrison grab Emily, watched Lily's defensive move, watched Morrison's fist connect with Lily's shoulder. Diana whistled low. That's assault with witnesses. Morrison's license is gone. And Emily, Victor asked quietly, signed a consent form for us to void the NDA, James said. She's agreed to testify. Catherine, she's yours. Catherine stopped pacing. Her expression shifted from fury to something like respect. You pulled off a field extraction on your first day, she said to Lily. That's unprecedented. It was stupid, Lily corrected. But Emily needed someone to show her that fighting back was possible. I was the only one who could do that. Victor stood. Emily needs medical evaluation, trauma counseling, and a secure location. Helen's already preparing a room at the safe house. Diana, I need a full financial breakdown of her settlement, where the money went, who controlled it. Marcus Webb, start reaching out to your media contacts. I want this story ready to break the moment we have enough evidence to go public. What about Morrison? Jordan asked. Let his own arrogance bury him. That assault video goes straight to the New York Bar Association. He'll be disbarred before the week is out. Victor turned to Lily. You're off active duty until your shoulder heals. I'm fine. You're injured, and you're not trained for physical confrontations. That ends now. Starting tomorrow, Helen will teach you actual self-defense, not just the basics, real combat training. I don't want to fight, Lily said. Neither did Emily. Neither did Sarah Chen or Monica Rodriguez or any of the other women we're trying to protect. But sometimes fighting is the only option. Victor's expression softened slightly. I won't send you into the field unprepared again. That's a promise. That night, Lily sat with Emily in the safe house kitchen. Helen had sedated her earlier, but she'd woken from nightmares. Now she picked at toast she couldn't eat while Lily made tea neither of them wanted. How do you do it? Emily asked suddenly. How do you keep going when you know what's out there, when you know how many men like Marcus Webb exist? Lily thought about Ryan's hands, about Morrison's fist, about the 400 women and the thousands more they'd never reach. I don't know if I can, she said honestly. I've been doing this for less than a week. I'm still figuring out how to breathe. But you saved me today. Today? What about tomorrow? What about the next woman Marcus Webb targets? Lily set down her mug. I'm terrified that this isn't enough, that we're just putting bandages on bullet wounds. Emily reached across the table and took her hand. But bandages keep people alive long enough for real healing. That matters. The words settled into Lily's chest like stones, or maybe seeds. She couldn't tell yet. Her phone buzzed. Victor texting from his office downtown. Catherine got the emergency order. Emily's NDA is void. Judge issued a warrant for Marcus Webb's arrest. FBI is moving in at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Lily showed Emily the message. Emily read it 3 times. Then she started crying again, but this time it sounded different. Like relief, like hope. He's really going to pay, she whispered. He's really going to pay. Emily slumped in her chair. I thought this day would never come. I thought I'd die with his voice in my head telling me I was worthless. That no one would believe me. I believe you. Catherine believes you. We all do. Why? You don't even know me. I know enough. I know you're a survivor. I know you're brave enough to testify against a man who nearly killed you. That's all I need to know. Emily wiped her eyes. When they arrest him tomorrow, can I watch? Lily pulled up the live FBI feed Victor had given her access to. We'll watch together. At 5:47 a.m., they sat in the living room with Helen and Catherine. The screen showed Marcus Webb's mansion in Connecticut. 18 FBI agents, 4 vehicles, 1 battering ram. At exactly 6 a.m., they knocked. Marcus Webb answered in silk pajamas, looking annoyed. The expression shattered when the agent read him his rights. This is absurd, Webb said. I've done nothing wrong. My lawyers will have this dismissed before lunch. Your lawyers are welcome to try, the agent said, but you're being charged under the RICO Act for running a criminal enterprise that systematically silenced victims of sexual assault. Your bail hearing is Monday. Pack a bag. They cuffed him on his own doorstep. Emily made a sound half sob, half laugh. He looks so small. He is small, Catherine said. He just convinced the world he was big. The broadcast cut to the newsroom. The anchor was already breaking the story. Billionaire pharmaceutical CEO Marcus Webb arrested in dawn raid. Sources confirm federal charges related to sexual assault cover-up. This comes just days after the Caldwell Industries arrest that rocked the corporate world. Lily's phone exploded with texts. Her mother watching the news. Sarah Chen sending heart emojis. 3 women she didn't know saying they'd been hurt by men at Titan Pharmaceuticals and asking if they could talk to someone. It's starting, Catherine said quietly. Once the first domino falls, the rest follow. By noon, 7 more women had contacted the initiative. By evening, it was 14, all employees or former employees of Titan, all assaulted, all silenced. Victor called an emergency meeting. "We're not equipped for this volume," he said bluntly. "We have 6 full-time staff and suddenly 40 witnesses across 2 major cases. We need more resources, more people, more everything." "I know a lawyer in Chicago," Catherine said. "Former prosecutor just like me. She's been looking for meaningful work. And I have a contact at the Times," Marcus Webb added. "Investigative reporter. She's done 3 major exposés on corporate sexual harassment. She'd kill to be embedded with us." Victor looked at Lily. "You know anyone?" She thought of Sarah Chen. "Maybe. A woman from Caldwell Industries. She's smart, organized, and she understands what victims need because she's been there. Bring her in. Let's see if she's interested." The team expanded. Within a week, they had 12 full-time staff. Within a month, 27. The safe house got too small, so Victor bought another property. Then another. The Caldwell trial was scheduled for March. The Titan trial for June. Both were shaping up to be the biggest corporate sexual assault prosecutions in American history. And Lily stood at the center of it all, still learning to breathe, still learning to fight, still terrified. She wasn't enough. Sarah found her in the office late one night staring at case files. "You're going to burn out," Sarah said. "Probably. But not tonight. Tonight we're getting dinner. Real food, not whatever sad desk salad you've been eating." They went to a diner, ordered pancakes at midnight, talked about everything except work. "I signed up for the paralegal training program," Sarah said. "Catherine thinks I'd be good at legal research. You'd be amazing at it. And you, Victor, offered you the Director of Victim Services position. Are you taking it?" Lily cut her pancakes into smaller and smaller pieces. "I don't know if I'm qualified." "No one's qualified for this work. We just do it anyway." "What if I screw up? What if I say the wrong thing to a victim and they don't testify and the rapist walks free?" Sarah put down her fork. "Then you learn from it and do better next time. That's all anyone can do." "It doesn't feel like enough." "It never will, but it's what we have." Sarah smiled. "Take the job, Lily. You're already doing the work. Might as well get the title and the raise." Lily thought about Emily asleep at the safe house, about the 14 Titan women she'd interviewed this week, about the 3 more cases Victor wanted to open next month. "Okay," she said. "I'll take it." Sarah raised her coffee mug to doing the impossible one day at a time. Lily clinked her mug against Sarah's. "To surviving." "No," Sarah corrected. "To living." The living came with a price Lily hadn't anticipated. 3 months into her new role as Director of Victim Services, she woke at 2 a.m. most nights, drowning in other people's trauma. Tonight was no different. Her phone glowed in the dark, 23 unread messages from victims, each one a fresh wound she'd have to help stitch closed tomorrow. She gave up on sleep and went to the kitchen. Victor was already there staring at his laptop with the kind of exhaustion that lived in bone marrow. "Can't sleep either," she asked. "Haven't slept properly in 11 years. He didn't look up from the screen. "You get used to it." "That's a lie and we both know it." Victor's mouth quirked. "Fine, you never get used to it. You just get better at functioning while exhausted." Lily poured coffee that was too strong and too hot. "What are you working on?" "Motion to dismiss on the Caldwell case. Ryan's sprayers are arguing that the storage room footage is inadmissible because the security system was illegally accessed." Victor's jaw tightened. "They're technically correct. Jordan hacked the system to preserve the footage before building security could delete it. So we lose the video evidence. Catherine thinks she can argue exigent circumstances. The footage was about to be destroyed, so immediate action was necessary to preserve evidence of a crime." He rubbed his eyes. But it's going to be close. If the judge sides with the defense, our entire case gets weaker. Lily's stomach dropped. When's the hearing? Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Victor finally looked at her. You should be there. The judge needs to see the impact of what Ryan did. Needs to understand why that footage matters. I thought victims didn't attend pretrial motions. They don't usually, but nothing about this case is usual. Victor closed his laptop. How are you holding up? Really? The question caught her off guard. Victor rarely asked personal questions, preferring to keep everything professional distant. I'm drowning, Lily admitted. Every day I talk to 5, 6, 7 women who've been destroyed by men who'll probably never face consequences. And I have to look them in the eye and promise them that fighting back is worth it when I'm not even sure I believe it anymore. Do you want to quit? Every single day, and then I don't, and I hate myself for that too. Victor was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, my sister's name was Anna. She was brilliant, smarter than me, funnier, kinder. After she died, I spent years wishing I'd died instead. Wishing I could trade places with her. Lily set down her coffee. Victor, I'm telling you this because that feeling that you're not doing enough, that you're failing everyone who needs you, that doesn't go away. It's the cost of this work. But here's what I learned. Anna didn't kill herself because I failed her. She killed herself because a system failed her. And every person we help, every case we win, every rapist we put in prison, that's me keeping Anna alive, making her death mean something. That's a lot of weight to carry. Yes, but it's my weight. I chose it. Victor met her eyes. You can choose differently. No one would blame you. Except me, Lily whispered. Except you. They sat in silence, sharing the 2 a.m. loneliness that came with doing impossible work. Lily's phone buzzed. Another message, this one from a woman named Jennifer Reeves, who worked at a tech startup in Austin. The message was 3 words, he raped me. Lily's hands shook as she typed back, I believe you. Tell me everything. The story came in broken pieces. Jennifer's boss, a work trip to San Francisco, a hotel room she couldn't escape, a promotion offered the next day that felt more like hush money than recognition. And now, 6 months later, panic attacks so severe she couldn't leave her apartment. I need you to call Catherine, Lily said to Victor. We have another one. By sunrise, they'd opened a new case file. By noon, they'd identified 3 more women at the same startup who'd been assaulted by the same man. By evening, Catherine was drafting criminal complaints, and the media was picking up whispers of another major investigation. The motion hearing for the Caldwell case started at 10 a.m. sharp. Lily sat in the gallery next to Sarah, both of them dressed in their most professional clothes. Ryan sat at the defense table in a tailored suit, looking nothing like the monster who'd nearly killed her. His lawyer, a woman in her 60s with steel gray hair, stood to argue. Your Honor, the security footage in question was obtained through illegal computer access. My client's Fourth Amendment rights were violated. The evidence must be suppressed. Catherine rose. Your Honor, the defense conveniently ignores that building security was in the process of deleting this footage when it was preserved. We had credible information that Caldwell Industries was destroying evidence of multiple crimes. Immediate action was necessary. Credible information from whom, the judge asked. A confidential informant within the company's IT department. The defense lawyer pounced. An informant who was paid by the Hale Justice Initiative, hardly unbiased. Catherine's voice went cold. An informant who watched his employer systematically cover up sexual assaults for 8 years and finally decided his conscience mattered more than his paycheck. The defense can impugn his motives all they want, but the footage itself is irrefutable. The footage obtained illegally, the defense countered. The judge looked at Lily. Miss Dawson approached the bench. Lily's heart stopped. Sarah squeezed her hand once, then let go. Lily stood and walked forward on legs that barely held her. Miss Dawson, the judge said quietly, I've read your victim impact statement. I've seen the medical reports. I understand what you've been through, but I need you to tell me directly without that footage, can you still testify to what happened in that storage room? Lily's throat closed. She looked at Ryan. He smirked. Yes, she forced out. I can testify. I remember everything he did, everything he said. I don't need a video to prove what happened to me. But the video corroborates your account, the judge said. It does. And without it, Ryan's lawyers will say I'm lying. They'll tear apart my character and my credibility. They'll make a jury doubt me. Lily's voice steadied. But I'll still tell the truth, whether anyone believes me or not. The judge studied her for a long moment. Thank you, Miss Dawson. You may sit. Lily returned to her seat. Sarah grabbed her hand again and didn't let go. The judge deliberated for 20 minutes that felt like 20 years. Finally, she spoke. The court finds that while the method of obtaining the security footage was irregular, the exigent circumstances exception applies. The evidence is admissible. Motion denied. Ryan's lawyer looked like she'd swallowed glass. Catherine allowed herself the smallest smile, and Lily felt something loosen in her chest, not relief exactly, but the absence of one particular terror. Outside the courtroom, reporters mobbed them. Catherine handled the questions with practiced ease, while Victor steered Lily toward a waiting car. You did well in there, he said. I almost threw up. But you didn't. That's what counts. They were halfway to the car when someone shouted Lily's name. She turned. A woman in her 40s pushed through the crowd, desperation etched into her face. Lily Dawson, I'm Amanda Liu. I worked at Caldwell Industries 4 years ago. Ryan Caldwell assaulted me in a hotel room during a company retreat. I took their settlement money and signed their NDA because I had 2 kids to feed and no other options. But I'm ready to testify now. I'm ready to tell the truth. Lily looked at Catherine, who was already pulling out her phone. Can you meet us at our office in an hour? Amanda's eyes filled. Thank you. God, thank you. 2 more women approached before they could leave. Then 3 more. All former Caldwell employees, all assaulted, all ready to break their silence. By the time they reached the office, Catherine was fielding calls from 11 new witnesses. The case that had been solid before was now airtight. Ryan Caldwell's legal team had to know they were sinking. That night, Victor called an all-staff meeting. The Caldwell trial starts in 2 weeks, he said. We're expecting it to last 3 to 4 months. The defense will try to overwhelm us with motions and delays. They'll attack our witnesses, our methods, our credibility. It's going to get ugly. Marcus Webb, the journalist, raised his hand. How ugly are we talking? Death threats, probably. Definitely surveillance. Possibly attempted bribes or blackmail. Victor's expression was grim. Anyone who wants out, speak now. No judgment. This isn't the job you signed up for. No one moved. Good. Because these bastards are going down and I need all of you to make it happen. Victor pulled up a new slide. But that's not our only problem. Diana explained. Diana stood looking uncharacteristically nervous. I've been tracking financial connections between the companies we're investigating. Caldwell Industries, Titan Pharmaceuticals, and now this Austin tech startup. On the surface, there's no connection. Different industries, different cities, different ownership structures. But, Catherine prompted, but they all use the same law firm, Morrison, Strauss, and Klein, and they all have the same insurance provider. And they all belong to the same executive networking group, something called the Pinnacle Leadership Council. The room went silent. How many companies are in this council? Victor asked quietly. 47. Lily felt the floor drop out from under her. 47 companies, all potentially covering up sexual assault the same way. I can't prove that yet, but the statistical probability that 3 unconnected companies would have identical assault and silence patterns is essentially 0. Someone's coordinating this. Diana pulled up a network diagram that looked like a spider web. And I think I know who. His name is Lawrence fucking Brennan. Marcus Webb swore. The Lawrence Brennan Venture Capitalist Forbes 500. The same he founded the Pinnacle Leadership Council 15 years ago. Sits on the board of 23 of these companies. And here's the kicker, he has a sealed juvenile record for sexual assault from when he was 17. His family paid off the victim and made it disappear. Catherine was already on her feet. If Brennan is systematically creating environments where sexual assault is tolerated or encouraged and profiting from companies that operate this way, we can build a RICO case that makes the Caldwell prosecution look small time. We'd need evidence, Victor said. Real evidence, not just financial connections. Diana smiled. Good thing I have a contact at the SEC who owes me a favor. Give me a week. The meeting dissolved into controlled chaos. Lily slipped out and found herself on the roof trying to breathe. The city spread out below her, millions of lights representing millions of lives. How many of those lives had been damaged by men like Lawrence Brennan? Sarah found her 20 minutes later. You're spiraling, Sarah said. We're never going to stop this. We'll put away Ryan and Marcus and 100 other men, and there will always be more. Always. Probably true. So what's the point? Sarah lit a cigarette, a habit she'd picked up in the past month. The point is that every man we put away is one less rapist in the world. Every woman we help is one more person who knows she's not alone. It doesn't fix everything, but it fixes something. And something is better than nothing. I'm so tired, Sarah. I know. Me too. Sarah offered her the cigarette. Lily took it even though she'd never smoked before. It tasted like ash and rebellion. But we're not quitting, not today. They smoked in silence until their phones both buzzed simultaneously. A message from Victor. Emergency conference room. Now. They ran downstairs. The entire team was gathered staring at the main screen in shock. The news was playing footage of Lawrence Brennan being escorted from his Manhattan penthouse in handcuffs. What the hell, Marcus Webb said. Diana just found this connection an hour ago. How are they already arresting him? Victor's face was stone. Because someone else has been investigating him, someone with more resources than us. The news anchor's voice filled the room. In a stunning development, the FBI has arrested venture capitalist Lawrence Brennan on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy. Sources close to the investigation say this is connected to the recent Caldwell Industries and Titan Pharmaceuticals cases, but represents a much larger criminal enterprise spanning dozens of companies and hundreds of victims. We're also receiving reports that federal agents are executing search warrants at 47 corporate headquarters across the country in a coordinated operation that officials are calling the largest white-collar criminal investigation in U.S. history. Catherine's phone rang. She answered, listened, and went pale. That was my contact at the FBI. They want to meet with us. Tonight, they're taking over all our active cases under federal jurisdiction. Like hell they are, Victor said. We built these cases. We found these victims. And now they're seizing our evidence under national security protocols. Catherine's voice was shaking with rage. Brennan apparently has connections to a foreign intelligence service. This isn't just corporate corruption anymore. It's espionage. Lily felt like she'd been punched. So what happens to our victims, to Emily and Amanda and Jennifer and all the others? They become federal witnesses in a case we have no control over. Victor's hands clenched into fists. We'll be cut out completely. No, Lily stood. Absolutely not. Those women trusted us. We promised them we'd see this through. It's not our choice, Catherine said gently. Federal prosecutors outrank us. They can compel our cooperation or shut us down entirely. Then we don't cooperate. Everyone stared at Lily. Excuse me, Victor said. We have copies of everything, right? All the evidence, all the witness statements. The FBI can't seize what they don't know exists. Lily looked at the Kim twins. Can you hide our files somewhere they can't access? James and Jordan exchanged glances. Technically, yes, Jordan said slowly. But that would be obstruction of justice. Only if they can prove we had the files to begin with, Lily countered. What if there was a tragic computer failure, a crashed server that wiped everything? Catherine's eyes widened. You're suggesting we destroy evidence in a federal investigation. I'm suggesting we protect our witnesses from being swallowed by a system that doesn't care about them as people. The FBI will treat them like case numbers. We treat them like human beings. Lily's voice rose. We made promises. I'm not breaking mine. Victor studied her with an expression she couldn't read. If we do this, there's no going back. We'll be obstructing a federal investigation. We could all go to prison. Then we go to prison. But at least our victims will have someone fighting for them, instead of using them as pawns in some espionage case they don't understand. Sarah stood. I'm in. Marcus Webb stood. Me too. One by one, everyone in the room stood, even Catherine, though she looked like it physically pained her. This is insane, Catherine said, but I'm in. Someone needs to protect these women, and God help me, that's apparently us. Victor nodded to the twins. Make the files disappear. Use encryption they'll never crack. Store backups in places the FBI can't touch. On it. James and Jordan were already typing furiously. Diana pulled up financial records. I'll create a paper trail showing our funding sources were compromised by foreign hackers. Make it look like we're victims, not perpetrators. The next 3 hours were a masterclass in organized chaos. Files disappeared into encrypted clouds. Physical evidence was relocated to storage units rented under false names. Witness statements were memorized and then shredded. By the time the FBI agents arrived at 11 p.m., the Hale Justice Initiative's servers contained nothing but empty directories and corrupted data. The lead agent, a man named Foster with dead eyes and a badge that looked too shiny, walked through their office with barely contained fury. "Where are the files?" he demanded. "What files?" Victor asked innocently. "Don't play games with me. We know you've been investigating Lawrence Brennan and the Pinnacle Leadership Council. We need everything you have." "We had a catastrophic server failure this afternoon," Catherine said, showing him Jordan's fabricated error logs. "Total data loss. We're devastated, obviously. Years of work gone." Foster didn't believe a word of it. "I could arrest all of you for obstruction. On what evidence that our computer crashed? Technology fails. It's tragic, but hardly criminal." Victor's smile was sharp. "Unless you have proof we deliberately destroyed evidence, I suggest you leave before my lawyers arrive." Foster leaned close to Victor. "You just made an enemy of the federal government. Wouldn't be the first time." After the FBI left, the team collapsed into chairs, adrenaline draining away. "We just declared war on the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world," Marcus Webb said. "I feel like I should be more worried about that." "Oh, you should be terrified," Catherine said. "We all should be. They're going to come after us with everything they have." "Let them," Lily said. "We have something they don't." "What's that?" "We have the victim's trust, and that's worth more than any federal badge." Victor's phone rang. He answered, listened, and his face went white. "What?" Catherine demanded. "That was my contact at the federal courthouse. They're offering Ryan Caldwell and Marcus Webb immunity deals, full immunity in exchange for testimony against Lawrence Brennan." The words hung in the air like poison. "No," Sarah whispered. "No, they can't. Those men are rapists. And now they're federal informants, which means all charges against them will be dropped. They walk free." Victor's voice was hollow. "Everything we've built, everyone we've protected, it was all for nothing." Lily felt something break inside her. The FBI is letting them go. After everything they did, after all the women they destroyed, they're just going to walk away. "Welcome to the justice system," Catherine said bitterly, "where powerful men always find a way to trade up." Lily stood. "No, I'm not accepting this." "You don't have a choice." "There's always a choice." Lily grabbed her coat. "I'm going to see Ryan Caldwell. I'm going to look him in the eye and tell him that I know what he is, immunity deal or not." "Lily, that's a terrible idea," Victor said. "All my ideas lately have been terrible. This one's at least honest." She was out the door before anyone could stop her. Sarah ran after her. "I'm coming with you," Sarah said. "This isn't your fight." "Like hell it isn't. He hurt you. The system is letting him walk. I'm not letting you face that alone." They drove to the federal detention center in silence. The night guard, a woman named Rodriguez, who Lily had interviewed last month about assault by her supervisor, looked at them with understanding. "You're here to see Caldwell," Rodriguez said. It wasn't a question. "Is that allowed?" "Technically, no. His lawyer restricted visitors to immediate family only." Rodriguez pulled out a logbook. "But you know the surveillance cameras in visitor room 3 have been broken all week. And I'm terrible at remembering who I let through. Just terrible." She buzzed them in. Ryan Caldwell sat behind bulletproof glass in an orange jumpsuit that somehow still made him look arrogant. He smiled when he saw Lily. "Lily Dawson, come to gloat." Lily picked up the phone. "I came to make sure you understand something." "Oh, what's that?" "The FBI might let you walk. They might give you immunity and a new identity and a fresh start. But you'll never be free. Every time you look at a woman, you'll see my face. Every time you close your eyes, you'll remember what you did. And somewhere, somehow, your past will catch up with you. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But eventually." Lily leaned closer to the glass. "You think I won't find out? That's what you said to me in that storage room. But I did find out. I found out everything. And even if you walk free, the whole world knows what you are now. That's not something immunity can erase." Ryan's smile faltered. "You're nobody. You're nothing. And in 6 months, everyone will forget your name. Maybe, but they'll remember yours. They'll remember Ryan Caldwell, the rapist who traded his victims for his freedom. That's your legacy now, forever." She hung up the phone and walked out. Sarah was waiting in the hallway, tears streaming down her face. That felt good, Sarah said. It felt like something, Lily agreed. I don't know if it's good. They drove back to the office. The team was still there, looking shell-shocked. The immunity deals are official, Catherine said. Caldwell and Webb testify against Brennan at his trial in 4 months. All charges against them dropped. It's done. Lily sank into a chair. So we lost. We didn't lose, Victor said quietly. We just didn't win the way we wanted. But Lawrence Brennan is still going to prison. The Pinnacle Leadership Council is being dismantled. 47 companies are under federal investigation. And yes, 2 rapists are walking free, but hundreds of others won't be. That has to count for something. Does it? Lily asked. Does it really? No one had an answer. No one had an... Lily went home that night and cried until she couldn't breathe. She called her mother, who was cancer-free now thanks to the treatment Victor had paid for. Her mother told her she was proud, told her she was brave, told her that sometimes doing the right thing meant losing everything and finding a way to live with it anyway. Your grandmother used to say that justice isn't a destination, her mother said. It's a direction. You keep walking toward it even when the path disappears. Lily wanted to believe that. She really did. The next morning, she woke to 43 new messages from women asking for help. Women who'd seen the news about Brennan's arrest and realized they weren't alone. Women who needed someone to fight for them. Lily made coffee, opened the first message, started typing her response. Because Sarah was right. Something was better than nothing, and she wasn't done fighting yet. The first message was from a woman named Claire Tan. She worked at a biotech company in Boston, and her boss had been assaulting her for 9 months. The second was from twins, actual twins, who'd both been raped by the same fraternity president at Duke. The third was from a 62-year-old woman whose doctor had abused her during examinations for 3 years. Lily answered them all before noon. By 1 p.m., she had a new problem. The FBI had subpoenaed her personal phone records, her bank accounts, and her medical files. Agent Foster wasn't giving up on proving obstruction. They're fishing, Catherine said, reviewing the subpoena, looking for anything they can use to pressure us into cooperating with their Brennan case. Let them fish, Victor said. We have nothing to hide. That was a lie, and everyone knew it. They had everything to hide, but saying it out loud made it feel more manageable somehow. Diana burst into the conference room without knocking. We have a bigger problem. Lawrence Brennan made bail. The room went silent. That's impossible, Catherine said. He's facing life in prison. He's a flight risk. No judge would. A judge did. 2 hours ago. 20 million cash bail. Brennan posted it from an offshore account we didn't know existed. Diana pulled up a news feed showing Brennan walking out of federal court smiling for cameras. He's already back in his penthouse. Lily felt ice flood her veins. He knows where we are, where all the victims are. He knows everything, Victor said quietly. Names, addresses, phone numbers. We documented all of it in case files that the FBI now has access to. Sarah stood abruptly. We need to move everyone, all the victims, in protective custody. If Brennan wants to silence witnesses... Her phone rang. She answered without thinking. Hello, a man's voice smooth as oil. Miss Chen, this is Lawrence Brennan. I believe we should talk. Sarah's face went white. She put it on speaker. How did you get this number? She demanded. I get everything I want, Miss Chen. That's how I've stayed successful for 30 years. Brennan's voice was pleasant, conversational. I'm calling to offer you an opportunity. You and your colleagues at the Hale Justice Initiative have been working very hard on cases that frankly are built on misunderstandings and vindictive lies. I'd like to offer you a chance to reconsider your involvement. Go to hell, Sarah said. Brennan laughed. Such hostility. Let me be clearer. I'm prepared to offer each of you, including Miss Dawson, I know you're listening, $5 million to discontinue your current activities. Sign ND. As close your files, move on with your lives. Everyone wins. Lily grabbed the phone from Sarah. We're not for sale. Everyone's for sale, Miss Dawson. It's just a question of price. $5 million, not enough, fine. $10 million each. Tax-free, deposited in offshore accounts within 24 hours. All you have to do is stop. Stop trying to put rapists in prison. Stop helping victims. Stop doing the only thing that makes any of this bearable. Lily's voice rose. You can't buy that. Then perhaps I should try a different approach. Brennan's tone shifted, went cold. Your mother is at 447 Oak Street apartment 3C, she's alone right now, recovering quite well from her cancer treatment. It would be tragic if something happened to her. A relapse, perhaps, or an accident. Medical emergencies are so unpredictable. Lily couldn't breathe. Victor grabbed the phone. If you touch her, I will end you, Victor said. Not legally, not through the courts. I will personally destroy everything you've ever built and everyone you've ever loved. Empty threats from a man with no power. Brennan sounded amused. But let's not be hasty. I'm a reasonable person. I'm simply asking you to consider your options. You have 48 hours to accept my offer. After that, the price goes down considerably. In every sense. He hung up. Lily was already dialing her mother's number. No answer. She tried again. Nothing. The guards, Victor said, pulling out his own phone. I have people watching her. Not answering, Victor said after 3 tries. His face went hard. Marcus, get a team to Oak Street. Now, armed. Already moving, Marcus said, typing rapidly. Lily ran for the door. Sarah caught her arm. You can't go there, Sarah said. That's exactly what Brennan wants. He's baiting you. I don't care. That's my mother. And she has 4 trained bodyguards who know what they're doing. If you show up, you'll just be another person they have to protect. Sarah's grip tightened. Trust Victor's people. Let them do their job. 15 minutes felt like 15 hours. Finally, Marcus's phone rang. Talk to me, he answered. His expression shifted from tense to confused. You are sure both of them? He hung up. Your mother is fine. She was grocery shopping. The guards were with her the whole time. No one approached them. Lily's knees gave out. Sarah caught her, lowered her into a chair. It was a test, Catherine said slowly. Brennan wanted to see how we'd react, if we'd panic. And we did exactly what he wanted, Victor said, slamming his fist on the table. We showed him our weak points, showed him we're vulnerable. Diana was already pulling up data. He called from a burner phone, impossible to trace. But the timing is interesting. He made bail at 2:17 p.m., called Sarah at 3:45. That's barely 90 minutes. How did he get her number that fast? The FBI files, James said. They seized evidence from the detention center when they arrested him. He must have had access to everything they took from us before the supposed server crash. Which means he knows about all our victims, Jordan added. Every single woman who trusted us with her story. Lily's stomach turned. We need to warn them. All of them. Right now. The next 3 hours were a nightmare. The team split up, calling witnesses, explaining the threat, offering to relocate anyone who felt unsafe. Out of 43 active witnesses, 37 wanted to move immediately. The remaining 6 went silent, stopped answering calls. He got to them, Emily said. She'd come to the office when she heard about Brennan's release. He's offering them money or threatening them, or both. That's what men like him do. We can't force them to stay in the program, Catherine said gently. If they want to drop out, then we've failed them. Emily's voice cracked. We promised we'd keep them safe. We promised. We're doing everything we can, Victor said, but even he sounded unconvinced. Lily's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You should have taken the money. Now everyone suffers. She showed it to Victor. He immediately handed it to Jordan. Trace this. I don't care if it's impossible. Find something. While Jordan worked, Lily stepped outside. The city was getting dark, streetlights flickering on one by one. Somewhere out there, Lawrence Brennan was sitting in his penthouse playing chess with people's lives and winning. Her phone rang, a number she didn't recognize, but with a Boston area code. She answered. Lily Dawson, speaking. This is Claire Tan. I messaged you this morning about my boss. The woman's voice shook. Someone just offered me $3 million to drop my complaint and sign an NDA. They said if I refused, they'd send photos of me to my parents. Photos from when I was assaulted, photos I didn't know existed. Lily's vision went red. Don't sign anything. We can protect you. Can you really? Because the FBI couldn't protect their own witnesses? You couldn't protect Emily from almost being kidnapped. And now some billionaire is threatening my family. Claire was crying. I don't know what to do. Come to New York tonight. We'll keep you safe while we figure this out. And if he finds me anyway, if he hurts my parents to get to me. Lily had no answer for that. Claire hung up. Lily went back inside to find the entire team gathered around Jordan's computer. I found something, Jordan said. The text came from a phone registered to a shell company. That shell company is owned by another shell company, which is owned by a trust, which is owned by... Get to the point, Victor said. Us. The point is that 6 layers deep I found a name. Richard fucking Strauss. As in Morrison, Strauss and Klein, the law firm. Catherine's eyes went wide. Brennan's using his own lawyers to harass our witnesses. Looks like it, and there's more. Diana pulled up financial records. Morrison, Strauss and Klein have been paying settlements to sexual assault victims for 15 years. Over $200 million across 47 companies. They're not just defending these men, they're running the entire cover-up operation. That's a RICO case in itself, Catherine said. Conspiracy to obstruct justice, witness, tampering, racketeering. We could take down the entire firm. Except we have no evidence, Victor said flatly. The FBI seized everything. Without our files, we can't prove any of this. Actually, James said quietly, we can. I kept backups, multiple backups, in places even Jordan doesn't know about. Everyone turned to stare at him. You what? Jordan said. I didn't trust the FBI, didn't trust that they wouldn't leak our files to defense lawyers. So I made copies, encrypted them with military-grade security, stored them on servers in countries with no extradition treaties. James looked at Victor. I was going to tell you. Eventually. Victor started laughing. It was the first time Lily had heard him laugh in months, and it sounded slightly unhinged. You magnificent paranoid bastard, Victor said. How much data do we have? Everything. Every file, every witness statement, every piece of financial evidence Diana dug up. It's all there. Catherine was already on her feet. Then we build the case ourselves, not against just Brennan, against the entire network. The law firm, the insurance companies, the executives who enabled this for decades. We go after all of them. That would take months, Marcus said. Maybe years. Then we'd take months, years, however long it needs. Victor's expression hardened. Brennan thinks he's won because the FBI cut a deal with Caldwell and Webb. But those immunity deals only cover testimony against Brennan. They don't cover the broader conspiracy. If we can prove Morrison, Strauss, and Klein orchestrated a criminal enterprise, everyone who participated goes down, including Ryan Caldwell and Marcus Webb. Their immunity deals become worthless, Catherine said slowly. They testified against one man but left themselves exposed to prosecution for the larger conspiracy. Exactly, Lily felt hope flicker. So we can still get them, all of them. If we're willing to fight the FBI, the law firm, and a billionaire with unlimited resources. Yes. Victor looked around the room. Anyone want to quit now? Sarah stood. I'm in. Again, still, whatever. One by one, they all stood. Then we work through the night, Victor said. James start pulling files. Diana map every financial connection. Catherine draft the RICO complaint. Marcus, I need you to start writing the story. When this breaks, I want it to break everywhere simultaneously. They worked until dawn. Lily reviewed witness statements until her eyes burned. Sarah organized evidence into categories. The Kim twins built a digital fortress around their servers. By the time the sun came up, they had the skeleton of a case that could bring down 47 companies and hundreds of executives. But they still needed one thing: proof that Richard Strauss and his law firm knowingly facilitated crimes. We need someone on the inside, Catherine said. Someone who worked at the firm and is willing to testify. That's impossible, Marcus said. Impossible? Lawyers are bound by attorney-client privilege. Even if they wanted to talk, they legally can't. Unless the privilege was used to further a crime, Catherine countered, then it's not protected. We just need to find someone with a conscience who's willing to take the risk. Lily thought of David Morrison, the lawyer who tried to kidnap Emily, the man who is now disbarred and facing criminal charges. I know someone, she said. I don't know if he'll talk, but I know where his weak spot is. 2 hours later, Lily sat across from David Morrison in a federal holding cell. He looked terrible, unshaven, exhausted, defeated. What do you want? He asked. I want to offer you a deal. Not an official one. The FBI isn't involved. This is just between us. Morrison laughed bitterly. You're in no position to offer deals. I'm in the perfect position because I know something the FBI doesn't. Lily leaned forward. I know about your daughter. Morrison's face went white. Emma Morrison, 23 years old. She works at a nonprofit in Seattle. And 3 years ago, she was sexually assaulted by her supervisor. She reported it. The organization covered it up. Sound familiar? How do you? I talked to her yesterday. She reached out to us after seeing the news about Brennan. She wants to testify about what happened to her, about how the system failed her. Lily paused. She also told me she hasn't spoken to her father in 3 years, because when she called you for help, you told her to take the settlement money and move on. You told her that fighting would ruin her reputation. Morrison's hand shook. I was protecting her. You were protecting yourself because if she fought back, if she made noise, it would draw attention to your firm's practices. It would make people ask questions about how many other victims you'd silenced. Lily's voice was steel. You chose your career over your daughter, and now she won't even take your calls. What do you want from me? Testimony. Everything you know about Morrison, Strauss, and Klein's settlement practices. Client names, payment amounts, evidence of coordination between companies. All of it. I'd lose my law license. I'd go to prison for violating privilege. You've already lost your license. You're already going to prison for attempted kidnapping. The only question is whether you die as the man who helped rapists escape justice or as the man who finally did the right thing for his daughter. Morrison was silent for a long time. Then he said, if I testify, will you help Emma? Will you make sure her case gets heard? I'll do everything in my power, I promise. That's not good enough. It's all I have. Morrison looked at her with something like respect. You're either very brave or very stupid. I'm both. Do we have a deal? He nodded slowly. I'll testify, but I want immunity from prosecution for my cooperation. I can't promise that, but Catherine will fight for it. Good enough. Morrison stood. Guard, I need to make a phone call to the U.S. Attorney's Office. I have information about a criminal conspiracy involving Morrison, Strauss, and Klein. The guard looked skeptical, but allowed the call. By the time Lily returned to the office, Morrison's proffer session was already scheduled. Catherine was practically vibrating with excitement. If Morrison gives us what we need, we can indict the entire firm. Every partner, every associate who knowingly participated. This is bigger than Brennan. This is the infrastructure that enabled men like him for decades. How long until we can file charges? Victor asked. Weeks, maybe. Morrison's proffer is tomorrow. If his information checks out, we move fast. That night, Lily finally went home to the apartment Victor had helped her lease in a secure building. She showered, changed into clean clothes, tried to eat something, and failed. Her phone rang. Her mother. I saw the news about that Brennan man making bail, her mother said. Are you safe? I'm fine, Mom. Victor has security everywhere. That's not what I asked. Lily sat on her couch. No, I'm not safe. None of us are. But I'm doing what needs to be done anyway. Just like your grandmother. Her mother's voice was soft. She used to say that being safe and being right were two different things. And if you had to choose, choose right. Did you believe it? I do now because I'm watching you choose right every single day, and I've never been more terrified or more proud. After they hung up, Lily cried for the first time in weeks, not from fear or exhaustion, but from something else, something that felt almost like purpose. The next morning, Morrison's proffer session lasted 6 hours. He gave them everything: names, dates, dollar amounts, emails, proving coordination between companies. By the time he finished, Catherine had enough evidence to indict 73 individuals and dismantle one of the most powerful law firms in the country. The indictments were filed 3 weeks later. 73 arrests in one day, partners dragged out of corner offices in handcuffs, associates who'd knowingly helped cover up assaults, insurance executives who'd structured settlements to maximize silence and minimize accountability, and Ryan Caldwell, whose immunity deal only protected him from charges related to Brennan's case. The broader RECO conspiracy wasn't covered. His arrest made the front page. Marcus Webb was picked up the same day. Both men screamed about their immunity deals. Their lawyers filed emergency motions. The federal prosecutors who'd cut those deals looked like idiots on national television. And Lily watched it all with Sarah Emily and Amanda Lou in Victor's office, drinking cheap champagne and crying. We did it, Sarah whispered. We actually did it. Not yet, Victor said. The trials haven't started. They could still walk. But they could also go to prison, real prison, for the rest of their lives. Emily raised her glass. Today, I'll take that possibility. They drank to possibility. The celebration lasted an hour before reality came crashing back. Claire Tan called from Boston. "They're threatening my parents," she sobbed. "Men in suits showed up at their restaurant. Said if I testify the restaurant fails health inspections, my parents lose everything." "Come to New York," Lily said immediately. "Bring your parents. We'll protect all of you." "For how long?" "A month of a year, the rest of our lives. However long it takes." Claire came. So did her parents. Victor put them up in a safe house with round-the-clock security. Over the next month, 6 more witnesses brought their families. The safe houses filled up. The costs mounted. The pressure increased. And Lawrence Brennan sat in his penthouse waiting for them to break. But they didn't break. They built their cases, prepared their witnesses, shored up their defenses. And when the first trial started, Morrison Strauss and Klein's senior partners on RICO charges, Lily took the stand. The defense lawyer was vicious. He tore into her credibility, her timeline, her motives. He implied she was doing this for money, for attention, for revenge. "Miss Dawson," he said, voice dripping with contempt, "isn't it true that you've personally profited from your association with the Hale Justice Initiative, that you've received housing, medical care for your mother and a substantial salary?" "Yes," Lily said calmly. "So you have a financial incentive to maintain these accusations." "I have a financial incentive to eat and have shelter. I have a moral imperative to tell the truth. Truth about what Ryan Caldwell did to me and what your clients helped him cover up. But you can't prove your clients knew. I can prove they paid settlements to 47 women across 15 years. I can prove they structured those settlements to include ND, as that were legally unenforceable, but psychologically devastating. I can prove they deleted evidence, threatened witnesses, and coordinated cover-ups across multiple companies." Lily's voice rose. "And I can prove that your clients knew exactly what they were doing, because David Morrison testified to it, under oath, with receipts." The lawyer had no response to that. The jury deliberated for 3 days. When they came back, they convicted all 6 partners on every count. The courtroom erupted. Lily sat in the gallery next to Sarah and Emily and Amanda and Claire, and 30 other women who'd been brave enough to testify. They cried, they hugged, they let themselves feel the weight of victory. Outside, reporters swarmed them. Catherine handled the press conference while Victor pulled Lily aside. "You did it," he said. "We did it." "No, this was you. Your testimony broke the case wide open. Your courage inspired 40 other women to come forward." Victor's expression was softer than she'd ever seen it. "Anna would have liked you." It was the highest compliment he could give. That night, the entire team gathered at Victor's house for the first time in months. They ordered pizza, drank wine, told stories about the trial. For a few hours, they let themselves feel normal. But Lily's phone kept buzzing, more messages from more women. The convictions had opened floodgates. "How many was?" Sarah asked, looking at Lily's screen. 63 new messages today. 87 yesterday. Over 200 since the verdict. Lily set down her phone. "We can't handle this volume. We're already drowning." "Then we expand," Victor said. "Hire more staff, open regional offices, train other organizations to do what we do." "That takes money we don't have." "Actually," Diana said, pulling up her laptop, "we do. The civil settlements from Morrison Strauss and Klein are being distributed to victims. But there's also a $10 million fund for victim services. We can apply for grants from that fund to expand operations." Catherine grinned. "We're going to use their money to help more victims take them down." "I love it." Within 6 months, the Hale Justice Initiative had offices in Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Atlanta. Within a year, they'd trained 50 other organizations in their methods. Within 2 years, they'd helped prosecute over 300 cases of institutional sexual violence. And Lily stood at the center of it all, still exhausted, still scared, still fighting. Because Sarah was right. Living was better than just surviving. And every woman they helped, every rapist they put in prison, every system they dismantled, that was living. That was the point. That point became harder to see 18 months later when Lawrence Brennan's trial finally began. The federal prosecutors had built what they called an airtight case. 206 victims willing to testify, financial records, proving systematic cover-ups, emails, showing coordination across 47 companies. But Brennan had something they didn't: $15 million worth of legal talent and zero conscience. His defense team filed 847 pretrial motions, every single one designed to delay, to exhaust, to make the victims give up. "They're wearing us down on purpose," Catherine said, reviewing the latest motion to exclude evidence. "Standard playbook for wealthy defendants. Make the process so painful that witnesses drop out." "How many have we lost?" Victor asked. 43 out of 206. Catherine's voice was flat. "Some took settlement offers. Some just disappeared. And 3, she stopped. 3 what?" Lily demanded. 3 attempted suicide, 1 succeeded. The room went silent. Lily felt something crack inside her chest. "Who?" "Monica Rodriguez, the woman from Caldwell Industries. The one Victor was paying for psychiatric care." Catherine pulled up a file. She left a note. Said she couldn't face testifying. Couldn't face seeing Ryan Caldwell in court, even though his immunity deal meant he wouldn't be there. The trauma was too much. Victor stood abruptly and walked out. Lily followed him to the roof where he stood gripping the railing, knuckles white. "This is my fault," he said. "I pushed her too hard. Expected her to be ready when she wasn't. You gave her options. She made her choice." "Did she? Or did I create a situation where she felt like she had no choice?" Victor turned to face Lily. "Monica called me 2 weeks ago, said she was struggling. I told her to talk to her therapist. I told her we needed her testimony. I told her," his voice broke, "I told her to be strong." "Victor, I killed her, Lily, as surely as if I'd put the pills in her hand myself." "No, the men who raped her killed her. The system that failed her killed her. You tried to save her. And I failed, just like I failed Anna." Victor slid down the wall, sat on the roof with his head in his hands. "What are we doing this for, if we can't even keep people alive?" Lily sat beside him. "We're doing it so the next Monica doesn't have to die alone thinking no one believed her. We're doing it so her death means something. That's not enough. It's all we have." They sat in silence until Sarah found them an hour later. "Catherine needs you both," Sarah said gently. "Brennan's team just filed a motion to exclude all testimony from victims who accepted settlement money. That's 147 witnesses." "On what grounds?" Victor asked, not moving. "That accepting money proves they were motivated by financial gain rather than justice. That their testimony is inherently unreliable." Victor laughed sharp and bitter. "So if you take money to survive after being raped, you lose the right to testify against your rapist. But if you're rich enough to not need money, you can assault with impunity. Beautiful logic." Catherine thinks the judge will deny it, but we need to be prepared if he doesn't. The hearing was scheduled for the next morning. Lily couldn't sleep, so she went to the office at 4 a.m. Emily was already there reading through Monica's file. "I can't stop thinking about her," Emily said. "I almost became her. If you hadn't grabbed me on that tarmac, if Morrison had gotten me on that plane. But he didn't. You're here. You're alive. For now. But what happens when I'm sitting in that courtroom and Brennan's lawyers are calling me a liar when they're showing photos of the hotel room where Marcus Webb raped me, when they're asking why I waited 3 years to come forward?" Emily's voice rose. "What happens when I can't breathe and I can't think, and all I want is for it to stop? Then you look at me. I'll be right there in the gallery, and when you can't find your voice, I'll remember for both of us why we're doing this." Emily wiped her eyes. "Promise, promise, Ortbus." The hearing started at 9 a.m. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Harriet Chen, listened to Brennan's lawyer argue for 30 minutes about how settlement money tainted witness credibility. Then she asked one question. "Counselor, are you arguing that victims of sexual assault should refuse financial compensation for medical expenses, therapy, and lost wages in order to preserve their right to testify?" The lawyer stammered, "I'm arguing that accepting money creates a conflict of interest. Answer my question. Should victims refuse money they need to survive in order to be considered credible?" That's a false dichotomy. It's the logical extension of your argument. Motion denied. These victims will testify. Judge Chen looked directly at Brennan. "And Mr. Brennan, I suggest you prepare your client for the reality that 206 women are going to tell their stories whether he likes it or not." Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Catherine handled the questions while Lily stood with Emily and the other witnesses who'd come to watch. A reporter broke through the crowd and shoved a microphone in Lily's face. "Miss Dawson, how do you respond to allegations that you're coordinating testimony with other victims to create a false narrative?" "I'd say that's exactly what powerful men want you to believe. that women can't possibly have similar experiences unless we're conspiring together. But the truth is simpler and more horrifying. These men all use the same playbook because it works. Lily's voice steadied. They assault in private. They threaten careers. They offer settlements that require silence. And they count on nobody believing us when we finally speak up. Well, 206 of us are speaking up now and we're not stopping. The reporter pushed harder. But isn't it convenient that you all have similar stories, that you all work with the same organization? Some would say that suggests coordination rather than truth. Emily stepped forward. Some would say that because they've never been raped by a man who had lawyers and money and power. Those of us who have, we recognize each other's stories because we live them. And the Hail Justice Initiative didn't create our trauma. They just gave us a place to turn it into testimony. More victims stepped up. Amanda Liu, Sarah Chen, Claire Tan. One by one they spoke. The reporters' questions got weaker. The camera kept rolling. By the time they finished, the footage had gone viral. 30 million views in 6 hours. The narrative shifted overnight from, are these women lying, to how did this happen to so many women? Brennan's legal team went into damage control. They held a press conference where Brennan read a prepared statement expressing deep regret for any misunderstandings, while carefully avoiding admission of guilt. Misunderstandings, Sarah spat watching the broadcast. 206 rapes are misunderstandings. He's trying to control the narrative, Marcus Webb said. Paint himself as a victim of a witch hunt. Classic abuser tactic. Then we counter it. Victor pulled up files. Diana, I need everything you have on Brennan's financials. Every shell company, every offshore account, every dollar he's hidden. Marcus started investigating his personal life. Previous relationships, former employees, anyone who might have information about patterns of behavior. James Jordan. I need you to find deleted emails, text messages, anything that shows intent. That's a fishing expedition, Catherine warned. If we go too broad, we risk looking desperate. We are desperate. Monica's dead. 43 witnesses have dropped out. And Brennan's lawyers are filing motions faster than we can respond. We need something that breaks this case wide open or we're going to lose. Diana worked through the night. By morning, she had something. Brennan has been transferring the money to a psychiatric facility in Switzerland, she said, pulling up bank records. $5 million over the past 3 years. The facility specializes in treating trauma survivors. So, Catherine said, lots of wealthy people donate to mental health causes. Except these aren't bunnet donations. They're payments for specific patient accounts. Diana zoomed in on the records. Patient accounts that match the initials of 12 women who previously accused Brennan of assault and then recanted. The room went dead silent. He's been paying for their psychiatric care, Lily said slowly, to keep them quiet. Or to keep them too medicated to testify, Sarah added. Jesus Christ. Catherine was already dialing. I need a warrant for medical records from Alpine Wellness Center in Zurich. Patient names matching these initials, and I need it yesterday. The Swiss facility fought the warrant, claimed patient confidentiality, dragged out the process for 6 weeks while Lily watched the trial date creep closer. Then one of the patients called Diana directly. Her name was Margaret Cho. She'd worked for Brennan 15 years ago. He'd raped her in his office, then offered her a job at a subsidiary company in Singapore and ongoing therapy through his wellness program. I thought he was being generous, Margaret said over video, called her face gaunt and exhausted. I thought he felt guilty and wanted to help me heal. But the therapists he sent me to, they didn't help me process trauma. They convinced me I'd misremembered, that it was a consensual encounter I'd regretted later. They gaslit me for 3 years until I couldn't trust my own memories anymore. Will you testify to that? Catherine asked. Margaret hesitated. If I do, he'll cut off my treatment. I'm not okay. I need help. We'll make sure you get help, Lily said. Real help, not the kind that comes with strings attached. How can you promise that? Because I'm a survivor too, because I know what it's like to have powerful men try to rewrite your reality, and because I won't let you face this alone. Margaret agreed to testify. Her testimony changed everything. She brought medical records showing the therapy she'd received was actually a sophisticated program of psychological manipulation designed to make victims doubt their own experiences. She had emails from Brennan's staff coordinating her treatment, And she had recordings. She'd been recording her therapy sessions for years, trying to figure out why she felt so confused. The recordings were devastating. Therapists telling her that powerful men like Mr. Brennan don't need to force themselves on women. That she was creating false narratives to deal with career disappointment. That her memories were trauma-induced fantasies. The jury heard those recordings, watched Margaret break down on the stand as she described how close she'd come to believing the lies. Saw the evidence of systematic psychological abuse designed to protect a rapist. Brennan's lawyer tried to spin it as an unfortunate misunderstanding between treatment professionals and a troubled patient. Margaret looked him dead in the eye and said, "I wasn't troubled until your client raped me, and I wasn't confused until his people spent 3 years telling me my reality wasn't real. That's not a misunderstanding. That's calculated cruelty." The defense had no response. After Margaret testified, 7 more women came forward with similar stories. All former victims who'd recanted. All participants in Brennan's wellness program. All ready to tell the truth this time. The trial stretched into its 4th month. Lily testified twice, once about Ryan Caldwell, once about the larger patterns she'd observed working with hundreds of victims. The defense lawyer tried to discredit her, tried to paint her as someone with an agenda. "Miss Dawson, isn't it true that you've built an entire career out of accusing men of sexual assault?" "No, I've built a career out of helping women tell the truth about men who assaulted them. There's a difference that benefits you financially. I make $180,000 a year helping trauma survivors navigate the legal system. Lawrence Brennan makes $17 million a year exploiting companies that enable rapists. If we're talking about financial motives, let's talk about his." The lawyer moved on quickly after that. Sarah testified, Emily testified, Amanda and Claire testified. 147 women took the stand over 3 months and told their stories. Brennan's lawyers tried everything. They attacked the women's credibility, their timelines, their motives. They suggested mass hysteria. They implied the Hail Justice Initiative had coach testimony, but they couldn't explain away the financial records, the emails, the recordings, the sheer volume of evidence that showed a systematic pattern spanning 15 years and 47 companies. The jury deliberated for 8 days. Lily spent those 8 days barely functioning. She went through the motions of work, but couldn't concentrate. Sarah found her in the office at 2 a.m. most nights, staring at nothing. "What if they acquit him?" Lily asked. "Then we appeal. We file civil suits. We never stop fighting." "I'm so tired, Sarah." "I know, me too." Sarah sat beside her. "But we're almost there. Just hold on a little longer." On the 8th day, the jury sent word they had reached a verdict. The courtroom was packed. Every seat filled with victims, advocates, journalists. Victor sat on one side of Lily, Sarah on the other, Emily and Amanda, and Claire and Margaret behind them. The foreman stood. "We, the jury, find the defendant, Lawrence Brennan, guilty on all counts." The courtroom erupted. People sobbed. Strangers hugged. Lily sat frozen, unable to process what she'd heard. Guilty. All counts. 47 counts of sex trafficking, 32 counts of racketeering, 64 counts of witness tampering, life in prison without possibility of parole. Sarah grabbed Lily's hand and squeezed so hard it hurt. Emily was crying. Amanda was laughing through tears. Victor sat very still, staring straight ahead. "We did it," Sarah whispered. "We actually did it." The judge set sentencing for 3 weeks later. Brennan's lawyers immediately filed appeals, but the damage was done. The man who'd seemed untouchable was going to prison for the rest of his life. Outside the courthouse, the media circus was insane. Catherine handled most of it, but reporters kept shouting questions at Lily. "How do you feel about the verdict?" "Like justice is possible. Rare, expensive, exhausting, but possible." "What's next for the Hail Justice Initiative?" "We have 43 other active cases, hundreds of victims waiting for their chance at justice. This verdict doesn't end our work. It just proves the work matters." "Do you consider yourself a hero, Jem?" Lily laughed. "No, I consider myself someone who got assaulted and decided to fight back. The real heroes are the women who testified knowing they'd be torn apart on the stand, the ones who risked everything to tell the truth. I'm just the person who helped them find their voices." The celebration that night was subdued. Everyone was too exhausted for real joy. They gathered at Victor's house, ordered food no one ate, and tried to process what they'd accomplished. Monica should be here, Victor said quietly. She is, Emily said. Every woman who testified carried her with them. Her death wasn't for nothing. Victor nodded but didn't look convinced. Lily's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Thank you, you saved my life. I was ready to give up. Now I'm ready to fight. How do I contact the initiative? She showed it to Sarah. And it starts again, Sarah said. Yeah, it does. Over the next 6 months, the dominoes kept falling. Ryan Caldwell was convicted on RICO charges, his immunity deal worthless. Marcus Webb got 25 years. 14 other executives from the original arrests got sentences ranging from 10 to 30 years. Morrison Strauss and Klein dissolved as a firm. 37 companies restructured their HR departments and insurance policies. The Pinnacle Leadership Council disbanded entirely, but the cost was staggering. 3 more victims attempted suicide. 78 women dropped out of ongoing cases due to trauma or threats. The Hail Justice Initiative burned through staff at an alarming rate. The work was too brutal, the hours too long, the emotional toll too high. Lily promoted Sarah to deputy director. Emily became head of witness services. Amanda took over financial operations. Claire ran the Boston office. They hired therapists for staff and mandatory time-off policies. They created support groups for victims who couldn't or wouldn't testify. They built a network of safe houses across 12 cities. And still the messages kept coming. 500 new victims in the year after Brennan's conviction. 1,000 the year after that. We're drowning, Sarah said at a staff meeting 2 years post-trial. We have the infrastructure now, but we don't have enough people, don't have enough resources. We're turning away 70% of the people who contact us. Then we need to change our model, Catherine said. Stop trying to handle every case ourselves. Start training other organizations to do what we do. Create a network instead of a monopoly. Victor nodded slowly. We become the hub. Train lawyers, investigators, victim advocates across the country. Give them our playbook and let them run their own cases. That means giving up control, Diana warned. I know, but control doesn't matter if we're too small to make a real difference. The shift took another year. By the end of it, the Hail Justice Initiative had trained 400 lawyers and 500 victim advocates across 40 states. They'd published their methods, shared their evidence-gathering techniques, created a database of defense strategies and how to counter them. The work spread like wildfire. Lily watched it happen from her office, now running an operation that helped thousands of victims instead of hundreds. The scale was dizzying, the victories more frequent, but also more impersonal. She missed the early days sometimes, missed knowing every victim's name, missed the feeling that she could personally make a difference. You still make a difference, her mother said during one of their weekly dinners. You just make it differently now. Does it count if I'm not in the trenches anymore? You built the trenches. You trained the people fighting in them. That counts. Her mother squeezed her hand. And you're still alive, which is more than I feared some days. 4 years after Brennan's conviction, Lily was invited to speak at a conference on institutional sexual violence. 5,000 people attended. Lawyers, advocates, survivors. People doing the work she'd helped pioneer. She stood at the podium and looked out at the crowd. Saw Sarah in the front row, Emily beside her, Amanda, Claire, Margaret, Catherine and Diana and Marcus, the Kim twins, Victor in the back looking uncomfortable with the attention but present anyway. 4 years ago, Lily began, I was bleeding on a storage room floor, convinced my life was over. I thought I had 2 choices: speak up and lose everything or stay silent and survive. What I didn't understand then was that survival and silence aren't the same thing, that sometimes the only way to truly survive is to speak. She talked about Ryan Caldwell, about Victor's offer, about the 47 companies and 206 victims, about Monica Rodriguez and the cost of this work. I won't lie to you, she said. This work will destroy parts of you. It will cost you sleep and peace of mind and the luxury of believing the world is fundamentally good. But it will also show you that humans are capable of extraordinary courage, that justice, while rare, is possible, and that every rapist we put in prison, every victim we help find their voice, every system we dismantle, that matters. The crowd stood. The applause went on for 3 minutes. Afterward, dozens of people approached her with stories. A lawyer who just won her first RICO case against a tech company, an advocate who'd helped establish a victim services program at her local prosecutor's office, a survivor who'd testified against her assailant and watched him get convicted. "You inspired me," the survivor said. "When I couldn't find the words, I watched your testimony online. Watched you refuse to back down. And I thought if she can do it, maybe I can too." Lily hugged her. "You did it. That was all you. But you showed me it was possible. That matters." That night, Lily sat on her apartment balcony with Sarah, looking out at the city. "Do you ever regret it?" Sarah asked. "Taking Victor's offer, getting pulled into all of this." Lily thought about Monica Rodriguez, about the nights she couldn't sleep, about the relationships she'd sacrificed because the work consumed everything, about the therapist she saw twice a week just to process the secondary trauma. "Every day," she said honestly, "and I'd do it again in a heartbeat." "Me too." They sat in comfortable silence until Lily's phone buzzed. Another message, another victim, another chance to help someone find their voice. She answered it, because that's what they did. What they would keep doing until the work was done or they couldn't do it anymore, whichever came first. 5 years after that night in the storage room, Lily Dawson stood in her office and looked at the map on her wall. Red pins marked every case they'd won. Blue pins marked active investigations. The wall was more color than white space now. Victor appeared in the doorway. He looked older, they all did, but steadier somehow. "The Ryan Caldwell appeal was denied," he said. "Final ruling, no more chances." Lily felt something settle in her chest. So he's really going to die in prison. He really is. Marcus Webb, too, and Lawrence Brennan, and 73 lawyers from Morrison, Strauss, and Klein, and 218 executives across 47 companies. Victor smiled. "We didn't save everyone, but we saved enough. We won enough. We changed enough." Is it ever enough? No, but it's something, and something is how you build everything. Lily looked at the map again, at all those pins, all those victories bought with blood and tears and years of her life she'd never get back. Worth it, every single one. She turned back to Victor. "What's our next case?" Because that was the point. There was always a next case, always another victim who needed help, always another fight worth having. And Lily Dawson had learned something in that storage room 5 years ago that still held true today. She was stronger than the men who tried to break her, braver than she'd ever known, and absolutely unwilling to stay silent when silence meant letting them win. They hadn't won that night, and they weren't going to win now. Not while she still had breath in her body and fight in her bones.